set it off. Go to Vegas, bet it all. Put it on the Bucs win, whoever they gon' play gon' fall. Don't say I ain't told y'all. Loose cannons gon' fold y'all. Yeah, the Heat be 9-3, but it gets real cold in the fall. That's when the season start. Bucs come in 40 hard. Win after win, ripping the division apart. Panthers, they pussycats. Falcons got bird flu. Take the Ravens and Dolphins and open up a zoo. Cause one thing's for sure, better than the Bucs, they show lane. And every day in Tampa Bay, we say fuck the Saints. We in Tampa Bay, baby. 813 going crazy. Tampa, boy. This Bucs podcast be the greatest. Loose cannons blasting on them haters. And we in Tampa Bay, baby. Tell them where you from. 813 going crazy. Yeah. This Bucs podcast be the greatest. Loose cannons.
What is up, Bucs Nation? It is February 24th, 2025, and you're watching the Loose Cannons podcast. I'm your boy, the host of the show, the Samar Ali, hanging out with my intern, Stank Bastard, and Izzy behind the closed closet tonight, folks. We will not see his pretty face and his fucked up eyes. And we are joined tonight by a special guest of Real Bucs Talk. Amazing channel, by the way. Breaks down rookies coming in, former plays with the Bucs, guys in the NFL. If you have a question on anybody that could potentially be suiting up for the Bucs, and maybe what happened on any given play on a Sunday, that's the channel you're going to go to. They're going to give you big brain football stuff that we're never going to give you here. That's why we bring him on the show here. And before I let you take the mic there, Mr. Pless, I just want to remind everybody to hit the like button. And if you're new, hit that subscribe button, please. It'll help us bring you some amazing cool shit down the line. And we got some stuff in the works, okay? We got some cool community building things that we've been working on. Plus, welcome back to the show, man. I don't think we've seen you since September on here.
I know. It's been a while. It's good to be back.
Good to be back. Is it really? Have you missed us?
Yeah. I mean, I love this show. I think it was a really good Mike Evans interview you guys had, and that was a lot of fun. So. Yeah, excited to talk some off-season football. A lot has changed. A lot's going to change over the next couple of weeks, so should be a lot of fun to discuss.
That was a cool interview with Mike Evans. Yeah, big things are to come on this channel, but it's going to be hard to outdo that episode. And if those of you who haven't seen it, highly recommend you go back and check it out. Mike said he was going to give us 30 minutes. Give us an entire almost an hour and a half, Sammer?
Yeah.
Plus hung out with us after the show, hung out with us before the show. We pretty much got a full 2 hours with future Hall of Famers. So amazing.
Before we dive into tonight's topic, which is what are the Bucs' biggest offseason needs? Before the show, we were talking about buffets. We were talking about Stank, looks like a buffet type of guy, and Izzy, intern extraordinaire, half blind, half mute, half deaf, asked Pless what the go-to is when he goes to a buffet, and Pless didn't really get to answer. So Pless, what is the go-to when you're first of all, are you a buffet guy?
I like buffets. I mean, what kind of buffet are we going to? Is it like pretty much everything? Like
you're at the Bellagio, so there's everything is there from
everything is available, bro.
Breakfast to crab legs. What are you grabbing?
I mean, I do love breakfast, so I would probably start there. I do like breakfast food, so can't go wrong. I do like Asian cuisine, so going there too, that's a good choice. So
are you doing the breakfast in the afternoon though?
Oh, in the afternoon? I mean, I love breakfast at night, so I'm a guy that can eat breakfast in the evening.
Right answer. I feel like you should do a
great answer.
A breakdown. Telestrator, and just go over all the breakfast for dinner choices one by one. I feel like it'd be a good episode. I'd watch it.
Yeah.
Maybe a buffet.
Izzy,
hold on, wait, Doc,
Izzy,
Doc.
you're an intern. You don't get to just interrupt anybody on this show ever. If there's ever a dead silence or a look at you, then you can speak. Right now, you're not even on camera. People are like, "Who the fuck's the voice coming in out of nowhere?" Stank. You look like a cream cheese bagel buffet guy.
You're damn right. I'm a cream cheese bagel any time of day. Like it's your last rites and you're about to be executed for whatever crime you committed. That's what I'm choosing. like a buffet of
have
bagels.
have you ever been to a buffet that's just bagels and cream cheese, just like as far as the eye can see? Think about that. Or like a peanut butter and jelly buffet where it's just different kinds of peanut butters, different kinds of jellies, different kinds of bread, and you can just mix and match until you die.
I still hate you. I mean, I hate you for a lot of reasons, but one of the reasons recently, because the memory just came up now that you brought it back up, is that we were in LA, to watch the Bucs and the Rams.
We didn't have the artesian.
Yeah, we found a place that made gourmet fucking peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. And Sam was like, later, we'll go later.
No. It wasn't peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. They actually like had a machine that removed the crust and turned every concoction into an Uncrustable.
Yeah.
But it was real bread, and then it would get toasted and come out. Heat warmed. Dude, it looked phenomenal.
It was like a $25 peanut butter and jelly. And I was never allowed to get it. And then somehow we never circle back. And so I'll never probably get it.
We had an event to get to. We weren't going to stand in this line of 50 people so you could have a PB and fucking J. Okay?
That sounds good, though.
Well, plus, you know what? Maybe you should have stood in the line and been a chaperone.
Maybe.
For a little stanky. For a little stanky poo. All right. Speaking of buffets, the Buccaneers have a buffet of needs on the roster, okay? And that starts off, in my opinion, with the edge rushing position. Then it goes down to, I think, inside linebacker / middle linebacker. And after that, I believe cornerback / safety. And believe it or not, defensive tackle and also wide receivers. Pless. What is your order of importance as it relates to those positions I just listed off? And did I leave any off that I should have thrown in there?
No, I think you're on it. I mean, edge rushers definitely, I think, among the fans' topics as far as offseason needs. Everyone's like, who are we going to get at edge rusher? Are we going to sign a big name? Are we going to, make a trade for, Myles Garrett or Trey Hendrickson or maybe a Miles Crosby? Or, I mean, looking at it, I think edge rusher, inside linebacker, I would probably have 1B, and then secondary, I think definitely has to be upgraded for sure. So, I mean, can they go in that direction? I think they should, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Stank?
He said Miles Crosby, and I stopped listening after that. I'm picturing like a hybrid of them both, and all those names sound fantastic to me.
Yeah, I meant Max Crosby. Yeah. Excuse me.
I know. I'm kind of with Pewter Report on this. They recently did their Fab Five, and Scott.
You're kind of jumping the gun.
No, but I'm just saying. You asked the question, so I'm going to answer it. All right. So if you don't want to hear the answer, don't ask me the question.
What was the question?
The question was, where do I think we go with edge rusher? And he just put out a bunch.
That wasn't the question at all.
Well, that's it. That's what I
heard. It was the order, dude.
All right.
It was the order of the positions of importance.
So maybe I prematurely.
No big deal. You kind of do that. That's kind of what you do. That's kind of what you do.
I'm an excitable guy, bro.
So now Pless, we'll start at edge, since we all agree that is the number one, the biggest offseason need for the Bucs.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we all have the dream scenarios: the Khalil Macks, the Myles Garretts, the Max Crosbys. Who, if I were the Bucs, I would put a requirement in his, or a clause in his contract. He has to add an extra X to his first name so that it fully fits into the Tampa culture. This Max with 3 X's Crosby, then he's a Buck. All right. Obviously, those top three, and Trey Henderson. Those are the guys that I feel like are in that dream scenario. Now, I'll let you talk about the dream scenario, and then I'll have you kind of give us more of the bargain bin or more realistic options, or things that don't necessarily break the bank, but fit more in line with what Jason Light, the front office, like to do, and not necessarily handicap this team moving forward.
Yeah, I think, when looking at the realistic trade options, I think with Myles Garrett, it's going to be difficult because of what the Browns have to do with the cap. And, obviously they're going to have to do some things to make it work. Obviously they have to agree to trade him. That's going to be the biggest obstacle. I think they're going to try to hold him and see what they can do as far as making it work and making him stay. But that's going to be tough because you're going to continue to get phone calls for his services. But obviously he would be the top guy to go after, but the cost would be severe because you'd have to give up probably multiple first round picks. You'd have to give him a new contract. So that's going to cost you quite a bit. But then you look at Trey Hendrickson. Hendrickson has talked about, either give me a new contract or trade me. So he's kind of given them, ultimatum there. And I think he'd be a little bit more affordable where maybe you don't have to give up a first round pick. Maybe you can give up a second, maybe, multitude or multiple picks, I should say, some type of combination, which it could be more affordable for the Bucs per se. Same thing kind of with Max Crosby. I think, all of them are going to have certain costs, but I would say the latter of the two, which I just said with Trey Hendrickson and Max Crosby, they would probably be a little bit more affordable. Will the Bucs go that direction? I don't know. It remains to be seen because, Jason Light, he loves his picks. I think he likes to continue to draft and develop guys. That's been kind of the motto. And free agency, there's really not really an edge rusher that I don't know if could be that difference maker. I know Josh Sweat has been the hot, name because again, he just had a really good Super Bowl, but it's like, what are you getting, with him? And obviously it's going to be expensive to acquire his services because he's going to have other teams out there that are going to want him. So that price is going to go up. You look at, Khalil Mack.
My thing, Pless, with those guys, those big names in free agency, they don't typically work out. They just don't.
Yeah.
And Josh Sweat had a phenomenal Super Bowl, and I feel like that was the worst case scenario for anybody who was trying to steal him at a decent cost because his value went up. He put on a show. It was awesome. But again, like I said, I don't think those guys necessarily work out. Sorry to kind of steal your thunder. And what you're going to say about Khalil Mack there?
Yeah, Khalil. I mean, again, it's also another probably big price free agent, and plus the age factor. I mean, he's going to be 35, I think, or 34. So he's getting up there in age. The production is not what it was 2 years ago. I think he had 17 sacks or something like that. And then this past year, he dropped down to 6. So it's like, when is that decline going to start to materialize? Has it already started? So you have to question those things. And also, maybe they go out and get one of these more valuable free agents. Maybe look at like a Caleb Chason from the Raiders, maybe a Malcolm Kuntz, who's also with Las Vegas. Those are some guys that, have had, good seasons. I know Kuntz is coming off an injury, so you have to worry about that. Chason had a good season last year. So, I mean, those are a couple of names. You look at, Azeez Ojulari from the Giants. Again, he's another one who's hasn't been able to stay healthy, though. That's been his biggest factor. When he is on the field, he's a good pass rusher. So, I mean, you look at those guys trying to think of some other.
I was going to ask you about Leonard Floyd.
Leonard Floyd.
Doesn't really fit with what the Niners are going to do now that they brought back Salah and he runs that 4-3 defense. He's not really that guy that fits that system. He's a little bit older, but he does fit what Todd Bowles would want to do. I think he'd be a fairly cheap guy. I think they would have to acquire him via trade, though. So I believe he's basically on the market because the Niners aren't going to keep him if he doesn't fit. He's a little bit older. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Maybe they end up having to cut him at some point. Who knows? I don't really know his contract details, but curious what you thought of Leonard Floyd because he's popped up in a couple of articles that I've read the last couple of weeks. Stank, you don't need to talk tonight. Thanks.
Yeah, Leonard
You
Floyd.
don't want to hear what I have to say, so you guys continue to banter back and forth, and I'll just sit back here and listen, smoke my cigar. The chat. Who the fuck is Loose Cannon's Vixen, by the way? Does anybody know?
Oh,
Anyone know?
that might be a new intern of ours. Who knows? There's somebody called Loose Cannon.
Nobody knows. Okay,
That's the first time I've seen her.
Well, welcome to the show.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Cowboy Buck says, "Let's hear from Stank. Stank seems to be paying attention."
Yeah. All right. We'll get back to Leonard Floyd. Stank.
yeah.
Who's your favorite potential edge rusher for the Bucs in free agency?
Listen, I'm like everybody else. I would love one of these big names here. I don't think Max Crosby leaves Oakland or Las Vegas or wherever he's at right now. Right? Brady's there. Got a new coaching staff. I think he's going to end up staying there. The other guys are contingent on what the teams decide to do. Trey and Miles. So all those things are out of our control, which leaves us with a pretty, not a list that's really not that impressive. I'm definitely not on the overpay for Josh Sweat bandwagon like everybody else is.
Good.
You're gonna have to settle for guys like maybe Chase Young or I don't know. Honestly, all I'm going to say is Bucs fans, get ready to be disappointed if you think this is just going to be some kind of fantasy football thing and we're going to add the best guy. Oh, by the way, there's 31 other teams that would love Myles Garrett as well. There's 31 other teams that would love Trey Hendrickson. So maybe it happens. I mean, don't doubt Jason Light, but realistically, I think, we're probably going to settle for some B tier guys and hope for the best in the draft. But I wish there was that guy out there. I mean, Jason's done it before, right? He's found those diamonds in the rough.
Like I said, I don't think the big name free agents that you overpay for ever work out. They just don't. I think the guys
I won't
that have
say
a chip
ever,
on,
but rarely.
I'm trying to think when it's happened. It's usually been a trade scenario where an edge rusher comes in and has made a big difference. I really don't think Von Miller, those guys were traded, but I was going to say it's going to be one of those guys, in my opinion, that they find that's got a chip on their shoulder, maybe coming off a down year, feeling respected. It fits that Shaq Barrett type of mold. So Pless, that guy, I don't necessarily know if he would necessarily be that guy. Leonard Floyd comes to mind because we were talking about him via the trade with the Niners. But also another guy that's kind of been floating around, and if you take him, you also keep him from playing for another team in the South. Matthew Judon. Curious what you think of Matthew Judon as a possible, because he's really good when he's out there. He had a pretty down year coming to Atlanta. It felt like he just didn't fit. Could that guy be a dude the Bucs could possibly get for cheap on the market and have him get that 1 year prove it deal, which we seem to love to do with these guys. And when they prove it, we usually give them what they want and we keep them and keep the train rolling. Yeah,
I'm not sure about Judon. I think, again, he's another guy that's older and really didn't really hit it with the Falcons as far as like giving them that impact that they were looking for. And obviously their pass rush struggled. I look at guys like maybe, Josh Uche. I look at Joseph Asai from Cincinnati. I think those could be potential, kind of under the radar signings. I look at even other positions. Maybe a Jonathan Allen becomes available from Washington. Maybe he gets cut and you go after someone like that to improve your interior pass rush. Because a lot of people forget, like Todd Bowles, he's all about forcing interior pressure. And I think that's what brings me to the middle linebacker position and why that's such an important need. You have to be able to find... Is he
Pless, or is he just being forced to run that because we can't...
Well, when you look at...
get outside pressure naturally and we have to manufacture...
Yeah, but he usually likes to blitz right up the middle behind those powerful guys up front.
What it's about is making the outside pressure easier, with that interior pressure. So if you're getting that quick pressure up the middle, that forces guys to move to the outside. That makes it easier for these guys to get sacks, whether it's Yaya Diaby or whoever. So that's important. And I think when you go back to the 2020 season, they had Devin White who could do the A-gap blitzes. Him and Levante could do that, and you could force things to the outside to help out JPP or Shaq Barrett, or just give one-on-ones opportunities for these guys to be aggressive. So I think you look at those type of names that maybe someone does become available. Maybe you look at the guy from Tennessee, Harold Landry. Maybe he gets cut. Look at something like that where maybe it could become affordable. So you just have to keep your eye out. I think really the plan for free agency is going to attack at middle linebacker and in the secondary. I think that's where you can find more value to add, good veterans, good depth. I think that's going to be the key, increasing that secondary type depth as far as from every position. So edge rusher, you're looking for a good veteran, maybe a younger guy that can come up and grow and maybe, blossom into with this scheme, kind of like Shaq Barrett did, or in the same thing with linebacker and secondary as well. You want to get better depth overall because you don't want to have to rely on guys like Tyreek Funderburk and Josh Hayes in the secondary. You don't want to have to go back to JJ Russell at linebacker. Like, you got to find some better depth overall there.
So Pless, as it relates to the linebacker, actually one quick name, DeMarcus Lawrence is another guy that's going to be on the market. I really like Azeez, by the way, Ojulari out of the New York Giants, only for two reasons. He kind of got pushed aside when they went and got Brian Burns, and they already drafted another guy, and so he was going to be the other guy, and all of a sudden now he's the third rotational guy. He's had a little bit of health issues. I think he comes in with a chip on his shoulder, and like you said, he's a good pass rusher, and I think he would be cheap. I think he'd be a little bit under the radar, possibly like a B tier kind of guy. But you bring him in there, he's athletic as fuck. On top of that, you put him opposite of Yaya, and like you said, if you increase what you can do in the secondary, what you can do in the middle linebacker spot, to where you're actually now covering guys for even just 1 second longer. If they can make that coverage on the back end just 1 second better, Yaya Diaby has 10 sacks. I mean, we saw it last year. He was ridiculously good off the edge, but he just couldn't get there in time. And if he did, it was usually too late. So I think that's a really good point that you made. I really never thought about that until just now. It makes a lot of sense. So let's go to that middle linebacker spot. What are the names that you think make sense there? There's a lot of people that, have mentioned. Yeah, Greenlaw is a guy I would love because I think he's coming off that Achilles 1 year removed. People aren't probably as high on him. That'd be an awesome guy to bring in. I think you bring him in, and Levante immediately says, hell yeah, I'm in. I'm playing with a vet. He's going to come in. He's going to learn this defense pretty quick, and he knows how to tackle. He does everything the right way. He's a pro. But there's other names like Zach Bond, Nick Bolton, things like that. So curious who you think. Let's talk about Greenlaw really quick, and then we'll kind of transition to who you think that would be a really good fit.
Yeah, I like Greenlaw. I think, again, he would be someone that would be affordable. I don't think you'd have to overspend for him. Again, he would fit what the Bucs need as far as being able to blitz, being able to drop back into coverage, be that sideline to sideline type of linebacker. So that's very important. So yeah, I think that would be a natural target to go after for sure. Some other guys that I like, Ernest Jones from Seattle. I think he's, again, young, fast, and can do everything you want. Same thing with Jamian Sherwood from the Jets. Again, another good name to look at. So those would probably be like my main three to target. I'm not really big on like the Zach Bonds or the Nick Boltons. I don't think I personally, I don't feel they're going to be available. I think they get re-signed. So those would probably be my top three to look at, the guys I mentioned. I think that's where we should focus our efforts if we want to add a veteran linebacker, and then we go into the draft and you draft another linebacker to really solidify. And then you have those three guys with potentially Levante coming in, and then Servassier being that depth piece and potentially challenging for a starting job. I think that's what you want to create competition.
Yeah, before I let Stank speak here, just quick little note, like you mentioned, a lot of people don't realize, but the Bucs have been on this little bit of a trend where if they pick up a free agent corner, they also draft a corner. If they pick up a free agent edge, they're going to pick up an edge. They've been double dipping a lot, kind of to hedge their bets, but to bring in a guy that they don't have to necessarily lean on in the draft and put that pressure on him. But you also got a vet who can come in there and possibly win the job as well. And nobody's given the job necessarily. So it's been a really good formula that I absolutely love. So that's a quick little note to add to what you said, Stank.
I'm actually going to defer to Izzy. Izzy, we got some super chats, man. You want to give these people their shine. They've donated money, and I feel like you should read those to everybody right now.
Actually, I was thinking about jumping in to do just that. We got LDBC's Most Wanted, $4.99. Saludos. Do you think CG has done enough to be in the Ring of Honor right now? He has had a great career so far, but I feel he needs 2 to 3 more prime years.
Chris Godwin,
and then you got
definitely a Ring of Honor guy. Get out of here.
Yeah.
He's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
The answer is yes. Next question.
B Loggins, $5. Dr. Pless, this one's for you. Dr. Pless, what about Rasul Douglas? We could use a vet corner. He'd fit well in Bowles' scheme.
Don't answer it yet, Pless. We're gonna have to answer that one when we talk about corners. Great question, though. Great question.
That is a good question. Love B Loggins.
It'd be really funny. The Bucs have an opportunity to do something that would be hilarious to me, which is if they actually were to sign Zach Bond, they would replace Devin White with Zach Bond after Zach Bond beat out Devin White in Philadelphia for his job that they signed him for.
That was hilarious.
It'd be really funny if we did that. I agree with you.
Even funnier that the Saints let him go, so we'd be replacing him with the
That's why I like the Trey Henderson thing, dude. Trey was on the Saints team, and they chose old ass Cam Jordan over him, and they let that guy go, and now he's fucking good, dude. He's such a dog. We didn't even talk about Joey Bosa, but plus
Joey's going to San Francisco.
Curious what you think of Shaq Thompson, older vet dude.
Yeah, he's retired.
No, he's not.
He announced his retirement today.
Oh shit! Today they just told him we're not going to sign him again. All right, well, Shaq Thompson, never mind. Great guy. Cool. Thanks for coming on the show. Keep it moving, I guess. Holy shit. Of the guys that you mentioned, Pless, of the linebacker core, which of those guys fits the best in scheme?
I think either of them. I mean, all three of them could fit. As far as like best, like ideal, I'd probably say Greenlaw just because of what his athleticism is and the upside is through the roof. Now, of course, you have to be worried about the injury history with the Achilles, but I feel like being 2 years removed from that, he should be at a point where he's trending upward and continuing to ascend. So that should help. But yeah, he would probably be my top target. But the other two guys I really like, I mean, Sherwood's coming off a big one season as a starter. So kind of have to be careful with that just because, okay, he shined in his one opportunity as a starter, but can he do that consistently going forward? So that remains to be seen. Ernest Jones, the thing with him, like he plays really well, like really good player, but he's been traded like I think 3 times already. So it's like, what's going on? Yeah, why is that happening? And it's teams that need his services, but they're still trading him. So it makes you wonder about the character. We know how big this team is on finding the right people first. So that's going to play a part. And it's also the risk you play with free agents. That's why this team loves to draft. They love to continue to build their team that way and reward them if they play well. And obviously, they've given out big contracts because guys have done their job.
What about...
Do you remember who the 49ers got in free agency to start and then Greenlaw beat that guy out? Anybody remember?
Yeah.
You mean the guy that walked out on his team halfway through the game?
Guy thinks he's rich now.
No, anybody? Say his name.
Oh, Devondre Campbell.
No. All right, you got to go back even further. Former Bucs great linebacker. I'm going to leave it up to the chat. Does anybody remember a former Buccaneer linebacker who was signed by the 49ers to be the starter and Greenlaw beat him out? I'll let the chat answer.
Was it Mason Foster? No.
Yeah, Jonas. Jonas with the correct answer. Quan Alexander was supposed to be the guy.
Oh, that's
Greenlaw
right.
Beat him out.
That's
It'd be funny if we then brought Greenlaw here, to get a little comeback.
I like Quan. Quan he worked hard. He just wasn't good enough. But he was a hard worker. He was a good dude. Devin White, piece of shit. Sorry, piece of shit.
Somebody added me on Twitter and said, "What about Devin White?"
No.
What about Devin White? Yeah, no. Okay.
Devin White has done and said things on the way out of
burned
Tampa
every
Bay
bridge possible.
that will never ever welcome him back. And the people who said Chase Young, nobody in the Bucs front office thinks Chase Young is worth a damn. Okay, when he was younger, they were laughing at the people talking about the Bucs going and getting Chase Young from the Washington Commanders, or whatever the fuck they were called back then. Okay.
So and by the way, I think you're right. And Bry in the chat said Shaq Thompson didn't retire. He just posted his goodbye to Panther fans because he's not returning.
Okay.
You know what?
See, this is why I ask about him. Look, this is why, Pless, because he kind of does two things. He can be an actual linebacker, but he's also a decent pass rusher, and he kind of fits in that weird hybrid role. Maybe that's a guy that makes sense. He's coming off a little bit of
40 years old.
He's not that old. No, he's not 40,
he's
but
old.
he's older.
30 years old.
Yeah, but he's got the chip on the shoulder. I believe he's had a couple of injuries here and there and derailed a couple of seasons for him. But it comes in and reminds me a lot of Shaq Barrett. Chip on the shoulder, wants to have something to prove, 1-year deal. And it's like, if it doesn't cost a lot, dude, why not? I mean, I feel like you just got to double dip a couple of times on some of those and just hope for the best. I think a rotation would be better than absolutely nothing. But curious what you think of him, though, Pless.
No, I mean, he's a good veteran, a good leader. I think he would fit the locker room for sure. Again, the biggest question is, what is his health situation? Like, what is his body as far as like current, shape? And would he be, I guess, the time to sign this guy? Like, I don't know. It's a risk, but I think it would be, the reward is obviously there. So yeah, I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't mind it at all.
I mean, he just put out a tweet. He put out a tweet same day that the team announced he was going to get cut. So he seems pretty healthy.
I would say anything's better than KJ Britt.
Yeah.
Speaking of, I've seen people say we should cut him. We should cut KJ altogether.
Yes, we should today.
Well, he's a free agent. He won't be back.
Cut him anyways. Can we do that?
Listen, I don't want to be rude to him because I think he's a good dude. He works hard. He talks shit. I like guys like that. But he's a special teams guy. Like at the end of the day, I think the Bucs are just hoping that we could hide him. And Dennis was obviously the way they were going to hide him. And that injury right there fucked a lot of shit up. That injury and then the injury to the cornerback that we'd signed from the Jets.
Bryce Hall.
That really, because I think if he would have stayed healthy, by maybe week 4 or 5, he would have supplanted Jamel Dean and been the starter, in my opinion. He was playing well. Preseason he looked ridiculously good. But,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not saying much, but it is what it is.
I like the way Bry thinks. They said re-sign him just so we can cut him. Yeah, that's how much I want him off my team. No disrespect, KJ, but goodbye.
It's fucked up. All right.
Yeah.
Since the super chat did bring it up, let's move on to the secondary. And we'll circle back to the defensive line because I do have some more questions about that, Pless, because people don't necessarily realize it, but we also should be looking at defensive tackle. But let's move over to the cornerback position, maybe the safety position. I have names for cornerbacks, so I'll let you kind of let's start with safety, okay? People don't realize it. Jordan Whitehead got in a car accident that actually is more serious than people realize. I believe it has something to do with a few vertebrae in his spine. So his career might actually be in jeopardy, might be over. Not going to say it's over for sure, but that's a possibility. So they really do have to think of who are they going to put next to Antoine Winfield, whether it's free agency or whether it's the draft. Who are guys in free agency that you think Pless would be able to come in, fit that role, and kind of take off some of that responsibility that seemed to be weighing on Antoine this past season, where he looked like he was trying to do too much to make up for a lot of things in front of him and beside him.
Yeah, I mean, I like Trevon Morik from the Raiders. I think he would be really cool. You look at Jason Pinnock from the Giants. I think would be a good addition. He had a really good 2023 season. And could bounce back with the Bucs. You kind of want to find someone that can play kind of both safety spots, like whether it be free safety or strong safety, because I think they're at their best where they can move Antoine Winfield around. That's what they're looking for. They want Antoine to be as versatile as possible because he's really good coming on blitzes. He's really good playing up in the box, and also playing, center field. So if you can add a guy like, I don't know if they'll be able to sign Morig, who I mentioned from the Raiders. Like, he's probably going to be a little bit more expensive than what they want to spend. But I think like Jason Pinnock from the Giants, I think would be a good addition. You look at, I'm trying to think of the guy's name, not the guy from Washington, Jeremy Chen, maybe, but he might be re-signed. There's a guy from the Panthers. His name is escaping me. I can't think of him right now, but there's a safety from the Panthers that I think would be a good move to make. But also you have to look at the draft. Like the draft, I think there's some good safety depth, so they could go that direction. And I think safety you can wait on. Like that's a position you can wait on until after the draft and see what you come away with, and maybe sign a veteran there. But we'll see. Obviously,
Plus, there's a name out there, and I know most Bucs fans. I don't know if they want to see him in a Bucs uniform, but Todd Bowles has some familiarity with this guy. It's a tough word to say, but
familiarity.
Yeah, that one. All right,
dude's fucking cross-eyed. He's just out.
Todd Bowles is familiar with the guy. A little long in the tooth. Plays in the NFC South currently for the enemy, but also played for Todd in Arizona. What do you think about the Honey Badger getting a flyer here? Just a flyer.
Tyrann Mathieu?
Just a flyer.
No.
Is he a free agent though? Or
he is a free agent.
Nah, I'm good.
I know you're good, but you think be somebody that Todd might.
I think
he's a good player. I'm just looking at the list of names right now. I'm trying to.
The chat says no. So
listen, I was a fan of his when he was with the Cardinals. I loved him in college at LSU. He was awesome to watch, dude. But I think he's a little bit too old to do what we want. I don't think he's great in coverage, in my opinion. The Bucs have to go to a guy who can be by himself out there. Right. We had Ryan Neal.
Jordan Fuller was the guy I was thinking of from the Panthers. Again, he's 26 years old. I think he would be someone to look at.
He is versatile, but I was going to say Ryan Neal. They brought him in. He's kind of played as a backup, rotational guy. Could tackle well, not necessarily good in coverage. Right. I think they need to go the opposite way. Get a guy who's comfortable being by himself, single high, so that you can move Antoine around, and then you bring him in the box or you move him around too. He does some stuff. But how
about nobody named Neal ever again?
Yeah, nobody named Neal ever again.
Not Ryan Neal ever.
Not Ryan Neal.
Yeah, I'm not saying bring him back. I was giving an example of what doesn't work. But Pless, what do you think of a guy that's older, like Stephon Gilmore, moving to safety? Being a guy who's a corner, understands how to do coverages and things of that nature, doesn't have to, put his old body out there too much as a safety in terms of covering guys, play in and play out. What about a guy like Gilmore moving to safety, doing a little bit of Rondé Barber type shit?
Yeah, I mean that definitely could be a possibility. I wouldn't mind it. It just depends on, is Gilmore going to be open to that? So that's what you have to look at, and it's like, what is his contract value? What's that price tag going to be? But again, that's another move that I think they could potentially explore. I don't know if that's the way they go, though. I think you look at like ideal scenario would be getting like a guy like Julian Blackmon from the Colts. Like that guy can play deep safety, but the problem is, what's his cost? What's his cost going to be? So I think they wait on safety as far as free agency goes and see what comes available. See what happens in the draft.
If we don't sign any whales, no edge rushers, and we can afford to, maybe pay.
They're already paying
guy in the secondary.
Yeah, but they're already paying Antoine, man. I don't see you paying both safeties big money like that. I think you just, like I've said all year, you just need a guy next to Antoine who could be average.
Yeah, but they are tired. They are tired of musical chairs at safety. They're tired of that.
But
shit.
you got to get a guy who can just be good. Just be good at your job. Be in the right place at the right time. Antoine does a lot of good shit. You just got to make sure you don't fuck up next to him, and I think you're good. Just my opinion.
I think the big money comes in.
Tyke at safety. I think you probably get some reps there at some point. I think they're gonna give him an opportunity to win the position.
Well, he's got Honey Badger type skills. He can play multiple, and so it makes no sense to not also cross train him, because I think getting what's his name, Izzy out of the safety spot is what they're really trying to do here. It's just like, we cannot leave him back there anymore. It does not work out.
Izzy played everywhere last year.
I know, but I'm saying I don't think they want any scenario where he's back there playing safety. So worst comes to shove, then hey Tyke, you're playing safety today because so and so got injured.
You say worst comes to shove?
Yeah.
No.
That's how I say it. That's how that's how it should have been.
That's not how we say it.
Oh wow!
You know what I mean? If you know what I mean.
Push comes to shove.
Yeah.
No, when worst comes to shove.
No.
It's when worst comes to shove. I've merged two together, but let's go to corners, okay?
Yeah.
Super chat. Don't know what the fuck the guy's name was. He said Rasul Douglas from the Bills. That's the name all these Bucs fans are fucking jerking off to. Here come the bots. Rasul Douglas. Should he be a Buck? Will it be affordable? Will it be too much? Is the guy still going to be able to play like he did a few years ago when he was a Green Bay Packer? Or is this guy done? Is he done? Or does he have the chip on his shoulder? And could he be the Shaq Barrett of the secondary that we've been fucking waiting for?
Yeah, I mean, I would go in a different direction. I think this is where
I hyped him up.
No,
Damn it.
not him. No way.
Yeah, sorry. I think this is where you spend the money. Like if you're going to go into free agency and spend dollars, like you go out and you call the plane for Trevarius Ward. Like you go after that guy and sign him to a big contract. You let go of Jamel Dean. You say, thank you for your services. Time to move on. You get Ward in here who has a chip on his shoulder. I think he would have a great season under Todd Bowles. Perfect fit as far as what they want to do, cover 3 and that type of coverage where he likes to zone play off coverage and get interceptions. Like he's a ball hawk, and he would be super motivated because again, we all know about the tragic tragedy that happened last year with losing his daughter. And I think he wants a new scenery. So to get away from San Francisco and come all the way to the East Coast and come to Tampa, I think that'd be a good move for the Buccaneers.
What do you think of Nate Hobbs?
Nate Hobbs, I like as far as like a depth piece. Like I think he could be potentially the Bryce Hall addition. Like you go out and sign that guy to play either outside or inside, and you have that versatility. I would even re-sign Bryce Hall back. Like I would get all 3 of those guys because you want to get away from Josh Hayes. You want to get away from Tyreek Thunderberg.
Let them play specials.
Well, not even that. I mean, Josh Hayes can't play special teams. Like I would just say, Saranara, like goodbye.
Wow. Pless is fucking just heartless. I love it, dude. You're a heartless GM. You're like, fuck your family.
He says Saranara. Like, listen, we don't speak good English on the show. So if you want to like and subscribe to this channel, because we just make shit up here.
Psych and LeBron.
Yeah. And subscribe.
Yeah.
Hey, it's like Jerry Maguire, man. It's not show friends, it's show business. And that's what you got to do.
I love that.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
Pless is going to bring in Josh Hayes.
Fucking Sugar said that shit.
And Josh Hayes just happens to have his like 2-year-old daughter coming into work day kind of scenario. He's holding her. He's playing with her. Yeah, daddy's a football player. Hey, go ahead and sit down, Josh. Listen, fuck your family, okay? We don't even want you to play special teams. We don't even want to give you that minimum, bro. We don't even fucking want you on specials. Practice squad? Fuck it. No. Get the fuck out. Give us the key card. Give us the tablet. Give me back the fucking jersey. No, we don't even want you to
show
keep the
Josh
jersey.
Hayes some respect, bro. That guy is trying.
I'm just saying.
hard,
No, I'm
right?
talking. I'm doing Pless, dude. I would never do that.
All
Josh
right,
Hayes.
I'm saying.
I'm a very respectable man. Okay, I would never do what Pless is doing right there. But Pless, another name. What about DJ Reed? See some Bucks talking about Bucks fans talking about DJ Reed. You obviously you mentioned Charvarius Ward, and then another guy, Jonathan Jones. I don't know shit about this guy either, but I'm curious what you think. DJ Reed, Jonathan Jones. No, Xavier Woods is 5 billion years old, I think.
No, he's a safety, first of all. But yeah, Jonathan Jones.
Stank, what are you doing on this show?
We're talking about secondary.
We're talking about corners. We moved on.
We're talking about secondary. Technically, he plays in secondary.
We
That's
said
true.
corners. We're on corners now. We moved on back past safeties. All right,
Well,
go
I
ahead,
didn't
Pless.
do that. Nobody
DJ
gave me
Reed,
the-
Jonathan
nobody
Jones. Is Jonathan Jones
Yeah.
still the UCF fighter? The UFC fighter?
No.
UCF. He played.
Dude, we're terrible tonight.
Happening right now.
Normally,
bro.
normally
I don't
I'm the
know what's going
dyslexic one on the show.
God.
My goodness.
Yeah, DJ Reed, he's a really good corner. The problem is he's only 5'9", so he doesn't really fit like the Bucks, thresholds for their height requirement. They like 6 feet or taller corners. Jonathan Jones, again, older veteran from the Patriots. Wouldn't be bad as far as like a depth player you bring in, maybe draft a corner as well, which they probably will do. You challenge him, see if he can beat the rookie out, or the rookie, it wins the starting job, something like that. But
Plus,
personally,
there's a name on my list you haven't said. Samer hasn't
Okay.
said. Also familiar with the system, oddly enough. Might even won a Super Bowl ring here in Tampa.
No.
Okay.
don't
Yeah,
say
no.
Carlton Davis.
Don't say Carlton
He
Davis.
can row a boat. I've seen him row boats here. All right.
Nah, I'm
That
good,
guy
man. I'm good.
fills a hole. He was our cornerback one.
I'm
We just gave
He-
him away.
He had a game for Detroit this year where I think he had 2 picks, maybe 3 picks
Can't
in
stay
one
healthy.
game.
Just can't stay healthy.
And that's
broke
like
his
he's
jaw.
he's already hit the number of interceptions he's going to get over the next 6 years. Right? He's not catching balls down here. But it was interesting that Pless brought up that the Bucks have a length requirement. Stank, did you hear that? I didn't know the Bucks had a length requirement.
That's
But
important.
listen, Jason White.
Jason White.
Jason Light, my
Wow.
goodness, what is going on tonight?
First you told me I'm not saying it like you
That's a
guys say
different-
it. Okay.
that's a
And
different
then
requirement.
you just
Sorry.
said Jason
Yeah.
What are you trying to
My
say
God.
tonight, Stank? What are you trying to say tonight?
That's a different requirement. Sorry,
Okay.
Jason Light.
Hey yo,
No stone is unturned with this guy. Okay, all measurables matter.
Hmm.
All right, put that on a shirt.
What kind of rulers are they using though? They using phone camera rulers, or are we using actual rulers?
Standard
Isn't
standard ruler.
Isn't the Coke can the measuring device for that particular appendage? Or
Use
no?
one of these right here, or remote. Remote's pretty
Yeah.
popular one, I believe.
Yeah.
Remote TV remote. Yeah.
Say-
I mean, remotes come out
Thank-
different sizes though. I don't know.
Look how tiny this remote is. right.
Thank,
I mean,
put down the Slim Jim.
it's all about the perspective, right?
Never.
You got these little Roku remotes.
Yeah.
But you can put anything next to this
It
thing. Looks
just depends
massive,
on the
right?
angle. You know what
yeah.
I mean? Like, yeah.
I mean, like, I could put it up next to like this ring, for instance, and be like, holy shit, dude, you were tiny. Like, well, no, actually, this ring's size of Izzy's head. So,
Hey,
it
whoa,
depends.
whoa. Excuse me.
Hey, all right, sorry.
Okay, if we're talking about corners, what about Byron Murphy, Jr. from Minnesota?
I think he's going to be re-signed. They pushed back his void years to open up negotiations. So I think he's going to come back. The Bucks did the same thing with Chris Godwin. They moved that deadline back so they can avoid that dead cap hit. So yeah, I would expect Brian Murphy to be re-signed. I would love him. I did a profile on him as on our channel. I would love to add someone like that because he is a playmaker. 6 interceptions last year. That's something that the Buccaneers need in the secondary, a guy that can take the football away. So
I think at linebacker and at cornerback, I think they go out and they sign a, B type guy, but then they also pair him up with a guy that can come in and compete. And if he's worst case scenario, he's like a, rotational, a depth piece like you're talking about, because we've seen it for the last 3 or 4 years. Nobody in our secondary can stay fucking healthy. I mean, they come up with ways to get injured. It just doesn't even make sense. It kind of reminds me of Brad Johnson hurting himself on the stairs one time. And all of a sudden he's like, yeah, I'm out for a month. I'm like, what? What the fuck happened? Something about a dog and some stairs. No idea what the story was. Anyway, Another position, Pless, that people aren't necessarily talking about, it's a little bit under the radar, but interior defensive lineman is actually a need for this Bucs team. And I think they're going to attack that in the draft. But is there a guy in free agency that makes sense as a Greg Gaines type of signing that they could bring in, fill in for what I believe will be we will no longer be seeing Will Golston, in my opinion. I think he is played his last snap as an NFL player. Hey, salute to the motherfucker. Absolute dog of a worker. Awesome effort guy. Won a Super Bowl. Went through the absolute dog shit years of Buccaneers football and never fucking complained. Was always a lunch pail guy, right? That's a John Gruden thing. Lunch pail guy. I love that dude, okay? Give me a defensive lineman that might be a Buck or that you would like to see be a Buck so we can get Greg Gaines the fuck out of here.
Well, I think Greg Gaines most likely probably comes back.
God damn it. Why, Pless?
Just because he's cheap.
Pless, you are the only person who pushes back on my Greg Gaines hate tweets. You're the only one, dude. You're like the only fan in his fan club. Okay?
I want to upgrade him as well. Like, I would like to find someone better.
I call him Greg Leans Gaines because that's all he does. He just leans, okay? That's all. He does nothing else.
I like Bobby Brown. I would love to sign him from the Rams. I think he's again another
the Bobby Brown.
Would it be your prerogative to sign Bobby Brown over any of these other guys?
The Bobby Brown is available.
Yeah.
I mean, how are like what? Imagine the concerts during training camp. This guy be able to throw.
Bobby Brown is one name to watch. I like Poona Ford from
listen to as well.
Poona, that's the best name.
Poona Ford.
Poona and Vita. What?
Poona up the middle?
Put them together.
Yes.
Poona up the middle?
Poona Ford next to Vita Vea. That would be
Poona
nasty.
Stuffed that run. Go ahead.
But he'd be a great addition. So I would like both of those guys. And then I think you said it well with the draft. Like defensive tackle position is loaded in the draft. So you could get probably a starter on any day of the draft from defensive tackle. So I would look at them probably attacking that position. I think edge and defensive tackle is where they go in the draft early. And I think those are the positions you look at. Free agency, like I said, linebacker and corner is where they are going to spend their money at in free agency.
I like that. I like that big motherfucker out of Ole Miss at defensive tackle, and I love that dude out of Florida State. Just a violent motherfucker, dude. Just violent. Go ahead, Stank.
Plus, you brought it up. You brought up the draft. You said edge, interior, but you're leaving out a guy that I'm seeing a lot of people talk about. Fills a lot of holes here. Potentially got some edge rush. Can blitz up the middle. Give me your take on Jihad.
Jihad Campbell. We did a film study on him. I think he's very talented. Again, super athletic. Has size at what is he? 6'4", 6'3".
6'3".
Yeah. So I mean, the dude can run. He's going to put on a show this week at the combine. I think again, he doesn't have the linebacker instincts yet. I think that's still developing because he wasn't a linebacker when he got to college. Yeah, he's an edge rusher, and you can see the more natural ability when he does edge rush. Yeah. So I think him and Jalen Walker are kind of in the same boat of that nature, where Jalen has that bend ability, like getting around the corner and being able to attack the passer, but also on the blitz, like he can do similar things like Jihad. I think Jalen's a little bit more fluid as far as dropping back. Jihad, I think, needs to just continue to develop his linebacking skills, but I think they both offer kind of that versatility that Todd Bowles would be looking for, and obviously high character dudes. And if you guys have been following my channel, Chris Paul Jr., like that's my guy at linebacker if they want someone, especially on second round, third round. Like I would love to get that guy. I think
his dad playing the NBA.
I was about to ask that exact same question. I was like, wait a minute, hold on now.
No, they're not related. They're not related. Different Chris Paul.
I don't want him.
Fuck him.
not the same. But
if he can't, I think if he can't come out there and give us 10 assists a game, fuck that guy.
Yeah.
Fuck, you hit a 3 when we're down 30.
We're gonna bring a CP3 who can't pass the ball. Get out of here, Pless. Come on. Also, you said linebacking or linebackering. Which one is it? Which one is the proper verb when you're linebacker? Are you out there linebacking? Or are you out there linebackering?
Linebacking.
Probably the first one you said.
Yeah. Linebacking?
Yeah.
Sounds like line dancing. I like linebackering. 'Cause you're
Okay.
bad.
I think you can say it both ways.
Yeah, it's fine.
I mean, we like on this show.
You think that
it doesn't matter.
you
It's
think
whatever.
that position goes both ways?
Yeah,
Hey.
a lot of positions go both ways, man. That's the new trend, or at least used to be.
Oh man,
Yeah.
love
Maybe
this.
not so much anymore.
Pless, another spot people aren't talking about. We didn't really mention it on our list of free agency or biggest offseason needs. How about wide receiver? I believe the Bucs have a depth issue at wide receiver. We kind of had to make chicken salad with no chicken or some shit like that. I don't know how the phrase goes. Either way, all right. Listen, I don't say a lot of correct things, but when I say them well. Okay, so they come out nice. But talk about wide receiver, man. Is there a guy out there under the radar type of signing that the Bucs could, bring in and bring some depth here and not have it, be so skin and bones when, Chris Godwin or Mike Evans has to leave the field or, gets injured or whatever happened. Like, I feel like we need somebody behind these guys that can come in and actually catch the ball. And for the love of God, don't bring back whatever the fuck that dude's name, 17. Fuck that guy. I don't want to see him again. Yeah, no more Sterling Shepard. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
Like, we were desperate when we brought him in. But is there another guy to come in here and actually make plays for us as a fourth and fifth wide receiver?
Yeah, I have two names for you. Josh Palmer from the Chargers.
Love it. Yes.
And then Darius Slayton from the Giants. I think those two guys would be very intriguing. Again, they wouldn't cost you that much. I think they would be very good. Number 4 receivers could potentially be your number 3, and just be a very solid base to work off of. Bring your floor at the receiver position to another level. And obviously you have your top 3 with Evans, Godwin, and McMillan. And you probably, sign one of those guys to be your 4, and then, let Trey Palmer and others battle it for 5 and see what you have with like Cam Johnson and some of these other guys that they like. So yeah, I would love either one of those 2 guys.
What about
T Higgins? No?
No.
What about T Higgins would be awesome.
Just ask.
Do you have a wide receiver like 5th, 6th round type, 7th round type of guy that would be an absolute here's my thing. I think we draft wide receivers fairly well, but we don't necessarily focus on bringing in a guy that's special for special teams. We just don't have that guy. We've tried to kind of take, guys like even what's his name? Trey Palmer. Not necessarily, doesn't look like a punt returner. He doesn't have that reckless abandon about him. We don't necessarily have that guy. Is there a dude like that could be, somebody who could come in one day and be an actual wide receiver, but immediately as a rookie comes in, could be that punt return type of guy, crazy speed, maybe 1,100 yards plus receiving in college from a no-name school. Anybody like that, round 5, 6, 7, that you'd be like, yeah, that guy'd be a steal. He's productive, but he's from a no-name school.
That's a good question. I haven't got into receivers, unfortunately. As far as like going like day 3, like if you wanted to talk about round 2, I could tell you Jaden Higgins would be my pick all day.
T Higgins' younger brother. I like it. Absolutely.
Yeah, he's a Mike Evans. He's a Mike Evans clone, in my opinion. Again, 6'4", 215. He can route run. He can do everything you want. But as far as like later receivers, I would have to do a little bit more research on that.
All right.
I agree with you as far as like finding a guy that can return kicks. Like that needs to be
enough is enough.
Something.
Dude. Holy shit!
It has to be something of importance. Like I think they have potentially that guy in Cam Johnson. I know he didn't really get that opportunity last year because of injury and stuff like that. And that's kind of been like it's been a weakness for Jason Light over the years he's been here. Like he's been trying to find guys to do that job. It just hasn't panned out. I know he tried it with like Kenny Bell, but that never, took off. Obviously didn't make the team.
Kenny Bell.
Yeah.
my thing is like I like Cam Johnson, but here's my thing. If I'm gonna put you back as a punt returner or kick returner, you got to be a guy that's not gonna get hurt. Like you got to be able to be durable. Like the guys that have done it in the NFL for a long time have been able to kind of again be reckless when they do it, but somehow stay healthy at the same time. We had a dude who was actually pretty good for a while there, but then he got fucking gout. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. So I forgot his name. One number 22, I believe, during the John Gruden years, he was returning.
Clifton Smith.
Clifton Smith, dude lost his job because of no joke, gout. He had got fucking gout. It makes no sense. But Pless,
I like Sean Tucker. I mean, I think Sean Tucker's
kick returns is pretty damn good.
Yeah. I just don't know if he can do punt returns. So
well, now that Liam Cohen's gone, because we all know that Liam hated hated a lot of our Trey Palmer. Nobody was happier to see Liam go than Trey, right? That guy threw a party that night.
Trey could have a resurgence this year under Josh Grizzard because Grizzard's going to want to go more vertical. He's going to implement some of those downfield shots like they had in Miami. So you could see Trey Palmer maybe, coming back into the fold this year.
He's also his kid's godfather. You guys didn't know that. Yeah.
Well, there you go.
That's not true.
Okay.
So I was gonna ask before we end the show, draft centric. We'll probably bring you back. We'll have a show about the exact same needs, but we'll talk about the draft, targets that Bucs fans should be thinking about or
I'll be prepared.
Yeah, hell yeah. Me too. Stank, probably not.
I stay ready. I'm ready right now. Let's talk draft.
Always
so
ready.
Let me ask you, first 3 rounds, okay? I think we all kind of understand what the needs are there. Cornerback, edge, linebacker, I believe are the top 3 in no specific order necessarily. But what are your 3 draft targets in terms of those positions or maybe crushes, whatever you want, guys that you would absolutely love for the Bucs to go after, home run type guys to fill those spots?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I know he doesn't play corner, but I absolutely love Malachi Starks. Like, I think Starks, if he's available, he's a guy that could potentially go to outside corner and be your guy. But he also allows Antoine Winfield to do what he does best. So he would be my number 1 crush as far as first round. Mike Green is an obvious because just of the juice he brings off the rush. Donovan Ezeraku, I think, is another name to look at edge rusher. And then I'm trying to think of another one.
I know you said CP3 for linebacker.
Yeah, he's more of a day 2 guy, but I mean, if we have to stay in the first round, I mean, Ezeraku, Mike Green, Malachi Starks, Walter Nolan is another one to keep eye on. Maybe Kenneth Grant as well. I know that's defensive line, but again, that's something that Todd Bowles wants to build. He wants to have that interior pressure, and if you can sit it in waves, that makes a difference.
I mean, last year, if Graham Barton wasn't there, they were going to draft Newton at defensive line. Yeah. So it was. I wish they would have gotten the dude from Florida State. Fisk would have been nice, but everyone said I was an idiot when I kept saying Fisk is going to be a guy, and nobody listened. Yeah. Stank?
He's a good player.
It's not going to happen, but somebody falls. One of these, the best receiver in the draft falls to us at 19. Is that a possibility? Potentially, you think?
I like Luther Burden. So,
what about the Chris Godwin clone, as I've been calling him all college season? The kid out of Ohio State.
Oh, Obuka.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's really good. Very talented receiver. It's got a very high ceiling, high floor. So,
lunch pail guy, by the way. I love lunch pail guys.
Yeah, I mean, he can get into the slot and do like the dirty work. So, kind of got that outside inside versatility. Very good player. I just like if we were gonna take a receiver, I would like the Luther Burden type because the guy's so electric once he catches the ball. His ability in space, that would be a lot of fun to have something like that, which we don't really have right now. I mean, we have, Godwin can do it at times, but I like to have that other guy that can make people miss once he catches it.
He's the Bucky of the wide rreceiver group.
Exactly. Yeah.
We don't draft those guys. We might sign a free agent or two. We had I don't know, maybe
Joey Galloway. We could use Joey Galloway.
Galloway was just take the top off guy.
Mm-hmm. Give him a crossing route with John Gruden's offense.
Maybe Antonio Brown's the last guy we had that can just, completely break ankles out there and run every route perfectly. And fuck that guy though.
A lot of those guys just aren't. They're not durable people. That's kind of some of the issues I've seen with that. But listen, I keep saying lunch pail guy because I've learned, behind the scenes, one of the weird questions that Jason Light and the boys and girls, ask about these guys before they draft them is, what do they show up to lunch with? If they are showing up with a plastic bag or just a soft Velcro lunch box, something like that, they don't want them. They actually want lunch pail guys.
Yeah,
showing up there with tin, metal, lunch pail. Like, that's what these guys want. That's what they're looking for. And so Levante David, they found out, lunch pail guy. Like, literally ate out of a steel.
You're talking about the one that comes with the thermos. You buy it. It's metal. You could
throw it.
Your tools in there.
You could throw it through a wall.
Yeah.
Okay. And your sandwich is unscathed inside.
Huh.
I like it.
Yeah.
So we found out
what was
that
that
Jason
sound?
Light, Jason Light measures
was
every
me.
appendage, and then also cares about how you bring your lunch.
Yep, has a length requirement apparently, like a few ladies I used to know back in the day. Plus, let us know where they can watch your amazing content on YouTube and all the amazing shit you guys coming up. Combine's coming up, and that's when you guys start fucking flinging these goddamn things like those fucking Las Vegas prostitute advertisers on the street there.
Yeah, absolutely. Catch us at Real Bucks Talk. It's gonna be a lot of fun. We have more film studies coming up, with a lot more breakdowns. Draft coverage is underway, and we got free agency. Less than 2 weeks, which is crazy to think about. You're gonna start seeing rumors probably fly after this upcoming weekend with trades and are the Buccaneers involved, all that good stuff. So that's gonna be a lot of fun. But guys, this has been a really fun show. It's always a pleasure.
Hell yeah.
It's always a pleasure. And we appreciate you coming on Fake Bucks Talk, which some people, lovingly call this show.
No one's ever called that. But...
No?
Plus, last question.
Got a nice ring to it.
What's your punter crush in this draft?
Oh, God. We do need a punter. We do need a punter. I
didn't like the whole punter by committee bullshit we did. I didn't like that at all. I think we should have kept the guy with the package, but that's just me.
Yeah.
Guys with packages rarely lose, and that was one of the times we saw a guy with a package lose.
Sammer, we've had beers with Jason Light. He told us he really wanted Chris Jones. He showed everything he needed to when he ran the 40. We saw his 40 time, his whole package. Now look at the guy, Hall of Famer,
beast. I mean, if we had to take a punter, I would probably want the guy from Florida, because that's the only punter I watch, which would be Tommy. I think it was Tommy Townsend, or no, that's not his name. He's already in the NFL. I'm thinking of the other guy. Crenshaw, I think is his name.
I don't like that.
So,
I don't like anybody with that last name.
Hey, Sammer, there's a Chiefs fan in the chat. Kansas City Chiefs fan from Lukenchurcher, Australia says, my girlfriend, UK, she Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan. And then he says, my girlfriend asked me what her Tampa Bay Buccaneers need for Darft in 2025. Can you
answer? Listen, Kansas City
Darft.
Chiefs fan from where the fuck, Australia. The answer to that, punter. The Bucs need a punter. That's the number one need in the draft. All right, first, second round. I mean, you got to go out there and get a punter. If you can flip field position, it's going to be awful hard for teams to score within the first 5 plays. They're going to score, but at least you delay the inevitable with a good punter. A guy who could maybe pin him inside the 10 every now and then, but a guy who could just boom it, no questions asked, right down the fucking field. All right?
They spelled it Darft again. And you know what?
I like
it. I like it.
I love it.
That's what we should call our show. 2025 Loose Cannon's Darft show.
Make the thumbnail.
Live Darft show. That's and we're like, these idiots can't fucking spell draft. This is not a professional show. Who's gonna watch that nonsense?
I heard toilets in Australia go out the opposite direction. Maybe ours and T's do as well.
Dude, that's a place I want to go to, by the way. I've never been to Australia. I would love to go to Australia. Tokyo, and Italy.
Tokyo would be fun.
Hell yeah.
There's a list real quick of teams that have not made it past the 50 in their first 9 series in the game. The Kansas City Chiefs are the only one on that list. So take it as it is. Lick your wounds. Go
no
walk
idea
away.
I just said. I have no clue.
Oh,
what the fuck?
Hey,
what? They didn't get 50 what?
Watch. So,
huh?
How are you this bad?
Hey, hold on.
Plus, do you need an intern?
I had to chime in. I had to chime in.
Can we send him to your school of interns?
Hey,
Can you send him back?
Wait.
If he wants to watch film all day, I'll take it.
But
hey, I don't think he can watch anything all day
you
at
need
all.
To prep this kid for the Darft, bro. 'Cause he's not ready.
He has no idea what he's talking about at all.
Wait. Hold on. Wait. So if I go to your school and I watch all this film, do I get a degree as well?
Yeah, you get a degree.
You do.
Hell yeah! I mean,
hey, pick it up at Kinko's after you.
Izzy. I don't want to hurt your feelings, but in order to get into the school, there is an eye test.
Oh,
you'd fail the eye test.
Actually, you know what? There are famous military generals who had bad eyes, and they still were badasses in the military. So guess what? I will find a way to get in.
Okay, I'm not sure why you equated Real Bucks Talk to the military. I mean,
hey, look,
not that tough.
Pless is the complete opposite of anything that you think of when it comes to a soldier. I mean, he soldiers on and watches film.
He does.
But he's a buffet guy at the end of the day.
He is a buffet guy.
I love the buffet.
Love the buffet. Stank,
wait,
you look like a Golden Corral guy. You look like every Golden Corral customer I've ever seen. The whole
would get
family,
it.
all of them.
He
Dude,
does.
Golden-
look
Golden
like-
I heard-
Corral,
yes, he
dude.
does.
You know how
Used to be
most
good.
establishments say no shirt, no shoes, no service? That doesn't
Yeah.
apply. So,
Not Golden Corral.
yeah. It's
Ain't
been a
anybody.
while. It's been a while. I mean, when I used to inhale copious amounts of marijuana, bro, Golden Corral, that was the fucking go-to. But no, not anymore. Not anymore.
Yeah, man. That's yeah, I've never been
Oh,
there.
Cali Bucks said you stole his joke. What do you say to
Like a
Cali
good-
Bucks?
I don't know,
Good
Calibucks.
hibachi.
It's been proven that I don't read the chat, so there's no way I could have stolen your joke, buddy. So
Good hibachi buffet is good.
yeah, see that now we're
Hibachi
talking.
buffets are
See,
really good.
a nice
Yeah.
expensive $200 buffet is where it's at.
Yeah, I
Right,
like
that's
hibachi,
how you
so.
know you're getting like Kobe type beef and something like that. You know, better than any buffet is the Brazilian steakhouses. Okay, people
Oh,
walk
there you go.
around with plethoras
Texas-
of meat, just a
Ooh.
plethora of
Texas
meats.
Day Brazil. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, flipping the coin thing. I was like, here, keep this. I'm never gonna flip it to red. Okay, just keep it coming. Literally,
Just keep it coming.
just cut the fucking meat
Yeah.
into my mouth. Unbelievable. Hey,
Yeah.
for those of you who have somehow lasted the entire show, I'm not sure how. Pless, thank you so much. Did you already let people know where to watch your shit or no? Did we cut you off?
Yes, he did.
Okay, you
He
did.
did,
Awesome.
good,
bro.
man.
He already told
They
us.
know where I am.
Stink. Let
Hey,
people know how they
Roblox
can get
talk.
more of you. No.
Well,
No,
you
so
know,
hey, make sure you guys
oh.
hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, leave us a comment if you think we are full of shit on any of these names, or if you disagree with us that the Bucs should re-sign Devin White, whatever it is, or make fun of Stank, make fun of me, make fun of Pless, I don't know, whatever.
Miles Crosby.
Miles Crosby,
Miles Crosby
we
is
dropped
the
a bunch
best
of
name
gold on
ever.
us tonight.
Miles
That's some nuggets.
Cosby, all the Darth coverage.
Jason White.
and
Jason
subscribe.
White.
Jason
Yeah.
White.
Worst comes to
Killing it.
push, worst comes to shove. Okay, I mean, we had a bunch tonight. Okay, that was
Best-
awesome.
best show ever.
Mudfish Matt says go away already. He's done
Go
with the
away
show,
already.
bro.
All right,
End the
all right.
show.
Fine. See ya. Go Bucks.
Bye.
It's kickoff, set it off. Go to Vegas, bet it all. Put it on the Bucks win, whoever they gon' play gon' fall. Don't say I ain't told y'all. Loose cannons gon' fold y'all. Yeah, the Heat be 9-3, but it gets real cold in the fall. That's when the season start.